My mother is an amazing musician. She basically started me on my path doing music. She had mastered a lot of styles of music, from gospel to classical, to pop music. She's really some jazz. So she really knew, like, I just remember like thinking like, man, if I want to do music, I gotta do styles, various styles like she does. You know what I'm saying? I have to be able to, you know, study all these different styles. So what's really cool is that I get a chance to work with her now. We've been doing this concert, the Supreme Love concert, um, for several years now. It's just, you know, it's a real blessing just to see her. She's been through some challenges with her health, and she's still kicking. She's still strong. She's survived, and she got her sense of humor and doing her thing, and is still powerful, making music, doing her thing. And it's a blessing, man. Every time I get to, you know, take these tools that she gave me and rock them on stage with her, you know, like be on stage with her, and we're performing for some of her students and like another generation of people who never saw us perform or whatever case may be. And we just been doing music since I was like a kid. You know, I was like, you know, in church with her, and when she was a teacher in my high school at Whitney Young. She was a music teacher there. So I was in the choir there. So we've been working together doing music. I've been playing for the choir, you know, doing all this stuff. So it's amazing to come back to Chicago and do these shows and just be like, yo, that's my mother over there who taught me everything. And we're doing our stuff. You know, we're making music. We're still doing it since I was like this high. We're still making music, and it's an honor because she's awesome. She's very well renowned. Flora Robinson, that's her name, and she really instilled like a lot of passion for music in me. You know, when I was a kid, and like that's so ill. You know, because I meet a lot of people like are grown people, and they don't know what their passion is. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, wow, you know what I'm saying? So just to have this lifelong connection with a passion, you know, like of just knowing what I want to do, knowing what I want to be, and having the guidance from one of my parents, man, you can't ask for a better situation than that. Because a lot of people don't have to really stumble onto it, you know, figure it out, hope they find out, you know, and it was like right there for me laid out. It was like, yo, here's an opportunity. You can do something. You can take whatever you want to do. You can do whatever you want with this. If you want to choose, if you want to run with it, if you don't want to run with it, just know that you have this gift inside you. You know, I've been using it. It pays my bills. It took me around the globe. I met all my idols. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, it's a blessing. I knew that music was going to be the path I took when I first saw Purple Rain. That movie was just so inspiring to me, you know what I'm saying, to see this dude live his dream and do his music, and he was just so ill at it, and he was going through all these struggles with his family, with himself, with his band, and pushing through, you know, these performances and the music, and I was just like, man, I gotta do that. I gotta do that. I gotta do that. This is crazy. And so that would definitely be the moment that I knew that I had to be on stage. At that time, I was playing piano because my parents both played piano. My mother's a classical trained pianist. So she basically was grooming me, you know, teaching me little stuff. So I knew, you know, a little bit about it. You know, I knew it was like, you know, it was in the house, but I just knew I had to do all that. I had to have the lights. I had to have, you know what I'm saying? Like my family, all of them are musicians. My mother, my father, my brother, my sister, like all my aunts, uncles, like a lot of my cousins, a lot of them play music. I felt like from that age, like I just felt like when I saw Purple Rain, I was like, yo, I gotta do this, you know what I'm saying? And then this, especially also when hip hop came out, because like I started writing, like when hip hop was, like I was really getting into hip hop growing up, I was just writing a lot of rhymes, you know, kicking it. And that was like really my thing for a minute, really about like, you know, writing and kicking it and just writing rhymes and you know, I had like, I was trying, it was crazy, man. Like just, I always just had this bug in me to do that after, like, but particularly after seeing that movie though. that was when I was really kind of like, yo, I got to do this. And then as more and more hip hop artists was blooming, I was more like, all right, that was just that. I felt like that was a call, and then like music took me on this journey. You know what I'm saying? I started out with a real strong love for hip hop, and then into a real strong love for funk, into jazz, and just from there to house music. Like, so that's why every style of music that I play, I was just really rooted in it at some point, especially growing up here. You just really get that moment where you just like, all right, cool. Like I had like a lot of time to study that and then take it with me and incorporate it into my style. For people who don't know, my brother is a great comedian, actor, singer, Craig Robinson. He played Daryl on The Office during his entire run. He's been in This Is the End and Pineapple Express, Knocked Up, a bunch of dope movies, Peoples. And this dude is just amazing, man. He was just always, like, I worked with a lot of people, and I worked with a lot of amazing people. But Craig is probably the most encouraging person I've ever worked with, the most loving person I've ever worked with, the most, generous person I've ever worked with. He's real. We he would just always push me. You know what I'm saying? He would never let me be, weak. You know what I'm saying? As a kid growing up, you had your moments where you like, he wasn't having that. You know what I'm saying? That was cool, like a big brother. And he was just always like, we would just kick it like, I was just, when Craig started doing stuff, I started doing it. You know what I'm saying? So he started going to the club, I started going to the club. You know what I'm saying? He's got 5 years on me. And like, he was just always just, pushing me. And he's, of course, he's mad funny. And I wouldn't even know what to start telling you some of the crazy stuff. This dude is the holidays are funny. They're cool. But yeah, Craig is he's just he's been a great rock for me and my foundation. And we do a lot of shows to this day. You know what I'm saying? We just did some shows in Brooklyn, and great as a musician. And man, dude, like, I just feel like he really, tried to teach me everything he knows, you know what I'm saying, about moving forward. And even in Hollywood, what's really dope about, I come to Hollywood and I meet these A-list people, and my brother's like, like it's Brooke Shields or this one or that person, whatever. And they're like, and I'm like, yo, and they're like, yeah, this is my brother Chris. You're his brother? Oh my God. It just says something about his personality. In the midst of Hollywood, this dude is coming up, this black man in Hollywood, getting mad love. He's always been, just ahead of the curve. So it's a great blessing for me to have him, in my life. And I love him. He's a great person, man. And he just has always been an example for me of how, to think fearlessly and to just keep moving forward, to be creative, and to be just to be awesome, and just give it all you got. That's what we do. Whenever it could be any given moment, it can just be a concert in the drop of a hat. If it's another person around, or it was just us around, whatever. If the minute is one for it, we could just instantly go into some kind of hip hop, classical, funked out jazz moment that you'll never forget. And we learned a lot from my parents, who were both musicians, and growing up in church together and just getting out here. It was crazy, like watching him come up doing comedy, because he used to go, be all jokes aside, he would perform over there. And his first night, I remember, going up to watch him and do his thing. That first moment, to see him grow from this, this shy person on stage, still funny, but just this shy person on stage, to grow up to this lion that he's become, as an actor, as a musician, as a comedian, he's a healer. He's like a doctor with his humor. He's an amazing person, man. So, like, God really blessed me with an amazing family, man. So, I recognize that. I appreciate my brother, and I appreciate all the people that have crossed my path, that have inspired me to be great. Because I would not be as great if I didn't know these people.
Can you do it again? Can you, was it a fluke? I'm like, come on, man. He's disrespecting me right now. You know, he was smiling, but at the same time, if I wrote a weak song, it would be like, get this kid out of here. You know what I'm saying? But luckily, you know, I was ready that day.
And then the song went off. He was like, man, that's cold. Yeah, he was like, yeah, it's a secret weapon. That's Detroit back there. It's Dwelle. And the dude turns around and he's like, oh, what's up, man? And it was Jay-Z, right? And I've never in my life been starstruck by anybody before, ever.
We just live in this culture, specifically like hip-hop, and I mean it sincerely, like hip-hop, we gotta stop shaming intelligence and shaming being artistic and shaming people for, you know, being socially conscious and socially aware. We gotta stop shaming them and making them feel like they're not real hip-hop or they're not real men.
She walked out on stage and Erica sang a song that was real popular, and I got the opportunity to sing a song that was popular with me. Then she won another one. It was almost like we was going back and forth. That was a great time for me. It felt like I had arrived at that moment. Somebody you respected showed that same respect back.